To the war in Gaza now, where the United Nations is warning that every single Palestinian in the territory is hungry. A UNICEF representative on the ground told ITV News the situation is so serious, there's a real risk of famine, something that's been repeatedly rejected by Israel. What little aid is allowed in is struggling to get through to the people who desperately need it, including hundreds of thousands of children. Our senior international correspondent, John Irvine, reports.
It's only a thin gruel, but it's all there is, and it's finished. But the queue is still long. There not being enough food to go round has become a familiar story in Gaza. Because the aid on which all these people now rely comes in via crossing points in the south, the most acute shortages are in the furthest flung northern part of the Strip, where more than 200,000 people remain and where these pictures were filmed. The appearance of a single aid lorry precipitates what looks like a breakdown in law and order as people compete so as not to miss out. In this active war zone, fear in the pit of the stomach has been joined by the emptiness that is hunger. 10-year-old Ali Abu Asser says it's humiliating queuing for food and that sometimes he walks away empty-handed. He says this is his only option and that not being successful here means going without. The United Nations is doing most of the heavy lifting at a time when the need in Gaza has never been greater. The UN and Israel have always had a fraught relationship, and they are at odds over the starvation issue with diametrically opposing views.
There's real serious risk of famine here. Every family that I spoke to told me about how little they were eating. Mothers were crying, saying that they couldn't get enough food for their children.
The reserves in the Gaza Strip are sufficient for the near term. There is no food shortage in Gaza.
Not knowing where the next meal is coming from is the latest hardship being faced by families living rough because they've been bombed out of home. Fida Sobo, a mother of 7, says she believes Israel is bent on the destruction of Gaza and its people.
Israeli forces try to kill everything in Gaza. Everything, life, dreams, children's memories, also the land.
A ceasefire would ease the suffering, but the Israeli Prime Minister said last night that the war could go on for months. John Irvine, ITV News, Tel Aviv.